Good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace. Coming up, customers of defunct Gold Coast Fund Management Company give Securities and Exchange Commission 3 days to pay their locked-up funds as calls picket the premises of the commission.
Here we are, 5 years. We are still counting. People are dying. And the Securities and Exchange Commission, Reverend Obami Tete and his entourage today in the meeting, they told us that they can do nothing about the death of the pensioners. We are calling on the nation. This is not our fight alone. Let the nation arise.
Also coming up, President Akufo-Addo hints of plans to review laws covering pension funds to guide new areas of investments following current economic challenges and debt exchange program.
So far as some of these monies will come back, once government begin to issue the bonds and the repayment starts coming in, they will come back to the banks in a form of.
And 15 out of 21 banks recorded losses in 2022 as a result of the domestic debt exchange program, according to their audited financial statements. Ahead, we'll hear from a banking consultant who predicts it may take banks 3 years to recover from the losses.
As far as some of these monies will come back, once government begin to issue the bonds and the repayment starts coming in, they will come back to the banks in a form of other income, and surely to affect the bottom line. So for this year and next year, we don't expect to see very different picture from what we are seeing now. But subsequently, 3 years when the bonds have actually matured.
That was the voice of Christian Techi-Jan, banking consultant. We'll hear more from him coming up on the marketplace, so stay tuned. My name is Daryl Kwawu. Thanks for being with us. First up, customers of the defunct Gold Coast Fund Management Company have picketed the premises of the Securities and Exchange Commission to demand their locked-up funds. The customers say they are yet to receive their monies 4 years after the regulator revoked the license of the company. The company, which operated under the registered name Black Shield Capital Limited, had over 55,000 customers whose funds were locked up. Here are some of the aggrieved customers who have been speaking to Joy Business.
Should be in our satisfaction, not for the government. And government cannot, never, in any way, government cannot take any decision that is for their own benefit. It should be the benefit of the citizens. And you see today, police all over, dressed up like a war. This is a terrible country. This is a useless country that we are in. And I'm telling you, some of us, we are ready to face anybody who actually will fight us. Useless. Useless. Thank you very much.
That amount of money, the same 40 million, went beyond 800 plus as of December last year. So even the 220, which I have is nothing. You understand what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, the government came in, we did some regularization, and I was given 50,000 Ghana cedis, and that was the end. I mean, the 40 million SEFA, an amount that could have bought me a 2-bedroom apartment in the UK, anywhere in the world. That was how it ended. As I talk to you now, my husband is a retiree, and he suffered stroke after this whole, what do you call it, DDP, whatever came into being. And he's right here in the car from the hospital. You know, when he has things were getting better, when the Ministry of Finance promised we're going to pay them, he became a bit better. Now, the whole of yesterday, he couldn't speak. We just from the hospital. Right here is in the car. And so this is I am an individual bond holder myself. I wouldn't want to mention the amounts of money I have with the Bank of how do you call it? No. I mean, it's the Bank of Ghana through EcoBank. So I have my children in school. My husband has retired, and we both have our bonds. And now it is this amount of money, as I'm saying, was 40 million SEFA, which I took as a loan with interest when I was redeployed from Abuja to Togo. And that is why I'm here this morning.
Well, the aggrieved customers of the fund, Gold Coast Fund Management, say they're giving the Securities and Exchange Commission 3 days to pay their locked-up funds. Let's listen now to Charles Nyame, who is convener of the group.
Securities and Exchange Commission, you came out with a press release that when you were confronted with these two options, you, per the experience that you have with liquidation path, some could even take 2 decades, that is 20 years. Based on that, you advise the government that the government should resort to a bailout package, which the government agreed. A bailout package means that the government should find taxpayers' money, pay with the customers, because our monies are not lost monies. They are monies invested in the system, in the financial system. So the government should find money, pay us, then the government will deal with the company in the court, take liquidation order later, and liquidate the assets of the company and send it back to the government chest. When the approval was completed at the Parliament House, then Securities and Exchange Commission made U-turn to use the liquidation route as a condition that unless they get liquidation order, the bailout package, they will not disburse it. Which is which? You say that the liquidation route can be protracted. It can take 2 decades, that's 20 years. That there's nothing they can do about the condition. This condition is killing people. Yes. All people are dying. Yes. And Mr. Adjufra says that there's nothing they can do about the death of the pensioners. Pensioners who have worked hard, served this nation with their sweat and blood. They have made their monies. They have put it down for their future use. And if a government policy, this company did not collapse by itself. Gold Coast Fund Management Company was solvent until a Akufo-Addo government touched it with the financial cleanup exercise. And this is a policy by government which was preluded with a lot of assurances from the government that he is doing this exercise to protect we the depositors, we the investors. It is going to protect our investments and our deposits. And here we are, 5 years. We are still counting. People are dying. And the Securities and Exchange Commission, Reverend Obama Tete and his entourage today in the meeting, they told us that they can do nothing about the death of the pensioners. We are calling on the nation. This is not our fight alone. Let the nation arise. It started with the financial cleanup exercise. It got to individual bondholders. It got to pension bondholders. Now pension funds are on the way to be touched. Very soon, our savings.
All right, Charles Nyame, convener of the aggrieved customers of Gold Coast Fund Management Company. My colleague James Ishan was with the aggrieved customers. He's been following developments from over there. He joins us from the Joy Business newsroom with more. So we've heard stories from some of the aggrieved customers. Did they get to hear from the Securities and Exchange Commission? You're muted, James. Can you hear me, James? All right, we do not have audio from James. We'll fix that for you, but you are seeing the shots from the Securities and Exchange Commission where aggrieved customers of Gold Coast Fund Management picketed this morning demanding the payment of monies owed them. They've given the commission 3 days to do so. We continue to follow that for you. But next to a group which also threatened to picket the Ministry of Finance until government pays their coupons and principals on their bonds, the pensioner bondholders forum gave government a week's ultimatum to make the payment. Now, that is passed, but we know they have been in a series of meetings with the Finance Ministry to get to some sort of an understanding. On Zoom with us, convener of the group, Dr. Eduanani Entry, I believe. Good afternoon to you, sir. What's the update following your discussions or engagements with the Ministry of Finance for payment of maturing coupons and principals?
Well, thank you. I think since on the 17th of last month, that we had a short meeting where they tried to reconvene, try to get a technical committee to reconvene and look at pathways. We haven't heard from the ministry, and we were not part of that technical committee because the other two individuals bondholders group, those who exempted themselves, they were to work on that committee. Later on, I heard one of the parties opted out of the committee. But that is, yes, that's their side. For our side, we have never been part of that committee. And so since the 17th, that we had a meeting and extended our 21st April deadline to 28th. Since then, we haven't heard anything from the ministry.
Okay, I know that you gave the ministry a week to respond to your petition for your payment, the payment of coupons. I know that has passed. That was supposed to be on the 28th of April. And so what happens next? Are you going to picket?
But it wasn't a week. We wrote a letter on the 30th and gave government up to 21st. And later on extended the 21st to 28th.
Okay.
We haven't heard anything from government. And so we have duly notified the police that we are resuming our picketing on the 8th, which is Monday coming.
And you're not being given any reasons for which the government is not paying. We know that the government has said that it is in some sort of financial challenge. Is that still the reason you are not hearing from them?
We believe that is the reason, but we also believe that government can take money from the treasury bill market and pay us.
Well, and is that an option that is being explored?
The government is the issuer. We are not the ones to suggest way of payment to the ministry. That is why we said we're not interested in any technical committee. If you are an issuer, you plan your cash flow in such a way that you can meet the coupon and the principal payment. And I'm saying if government hasn't got any money at all, the treasury bill market is still there for government. Government can borrow to pay our coupons. That will increase government loans from level. But you need to pay people. This is life and death. These are the people who are on these living on these coupons for their medication. You can't allow them to go without drugs and die. And we all know that the president has said that if people die, you can't bring them back. If the economy collapses, you can bring the economy back. So why don't you borrow from the treasury bill market, pay these pensioners, let them have access to their drugs, let them live so that they don't die. If your debt level even increases, you can still sort it out. But you can't sort out the life of the people who dead when they don't have access to their own funds, buy medicine. They save to buy medicine for themselves. That is the point. Nobody is begging government for government to release money for the elderly or for the aged to fend for themselves. People have money. So wherever government must find money, whichever project government must stop, suspend, and free itself and get money to pay these pensioners, government must do that.
And so you say you have written to the police. When do you look at going to the Ministry of Finance to picket?
On Monday 8th, we are going there from 10 to 11 as we did the other time. And we are going to picket there every working day until all these arrears are paid.
Well, during the May Day celebration, during his address yesterday, the president indicated that there were plans underway to review the investment of pension funds. I want us to take a listen to what the president said, and I'll take your reaction to that.
In undertaking the domestic debt exchange program, we have been very mindful of its potential impact on the pension funds of workers. We will not act in any way to shortchange workers in protecting their pensions. It is for this reason that government, through an MOU signed with organized labor on 22nd December 2022, decided to grant exemption to all pension funds in the domestic debt exchange program. At the same time, in the MOU, both government and organized labor agreed to work together, quote, to explore mutually beneficial options within debt sustainability limits and to also promote macroeconomic stability and economic recovery in the spirit of social partnership, unquote. In this regard, within global risk management practice, the options should include diversifying the portfolio of pension funds from the current 70% in government paper to real sector investments, including rail, housing, urban transportation, motorways, and airports, as is done by other pension funds. I'm aware that both the Minister for Finance and the Minister for Employment and Social Relations and their technical teams have been working with organized labor and its associations and pension fund managers and trustees to explore these mutually beneficial options. I'd like to use this occasion to appeal to organized labor to work urgently with government to conclude the discussions within the spirit of social partnership and burden sharing towards addressing our economic challenges and providing a stronger base for our rapid growth and development.
Yesterday during the May Day celebration addressing workers. Your reactions to some of the things he's been saying, Doc?
Well, it is good. I have always said that the key problem, the major problem we face in this restructuring was the lack of consultation. If people say they consulted, then you can say lack of adequate consultation. When you consult, you solve the problems very, very easily. So when government has had an MOU with this labor, my view was that before the minister came out with something, they would have met already and negotiated and agreed that this is what we have agreed with government to do. Rather than the ministry coming out with something for the pension funds and the trade unions to say no. So if government sees that this is the right way to go, negotiate, come together, let them find a mutual ground and say, this is our pension funds. This is how we want it to be treated under the government, the sustainability, whatever program. And if it's agreed between them, then they can go ahead. When you bring it, nobody will say he doesn't like it. It is the negotiation aspect that I don't understand why still the first time the negotiation wasn't done, and that has created problems and delays in this exchange program. And yet still, we see that there is still lack of negotiation. The two parties should have met and discussed this, and whatever they come out, everybody will be accepting it. So I'm happy government, the president has seen that and say that they must be at the negotiating table and come out with a solution. Once they negotiate and say, this is what we want, how we want our monies to be used, it's agreed between the two parties. Nobody will say he doesn't agree, he doesn't agree, or that kind of thing. I'm happy if the negotiation is carried on. That is the solution.
All right, Dr. Eduanani Entry, convener of the Pensioner Bondholders Forum, joining us. I appreciate your time with us. We are hopeful that there will be an answer from the Ministry of Finance to your request before Monday, when you plan to pick it again, if you did not hear anything about your maturing coupons. Thank you so much. We'll want to go back to our earlier story to do with the aggrieved customers of Gold Coast Fund Management, who today also picketed the Securities and Exchange Commission demanding payment of their locked-up funds. My colleague James Ishen was there. He's now with me in the studio to tell us a bit more about what happened over there. So we heard the stories from the aggrieved customers. Did the Securities and Exchange Commission meet them? What did they say?
Yeah, today, yes, they met the Security and Exchange Commission. They were expecting something positive out of that particular meeting. But it appears after almost 2 to 3 hours of that particular meeting, when we engaged the convener, that is Charles Iame, with respect to what are some of the outcomes out of that particular meeting. What he said was it appears SEC seemed to be indifferent in handling or addressing their issues, which he felt was not the right way. And also he raised other issues that had to do with the fact that, according to him, some few weeks back, we have the president saying most of these depositors have been paid, but it appears the president has been misled, and he wanted to address the president and anyone in charge to let them know that that's not the case, and they are still have their funds being locked up. So as soon as possible, this should be done, and for them to get their monies paid back to them.
So essentially, they are giving the Securities and Exchange Commission 3 days to make the payments. And so what happens after day 3 when there's no payment?
Right, so after the 3 days, according to the convener, it appears they only had 3 days from the police. That is a permit being given to them by the police. In that sense, after 3 days, they would wait for another week. That is a week for resting. They will come back, go back to the police, get a 3-day permission. So they will consistently keep picketing at the premises of the Security and Exchange Commission until this particular matter is being addressed. So basically, that's the calls coming from them.
All right, James Ishen, thanks for keeping an eye on that story for us. We will keep following. They are going to picket again, I believe, day 2 till they get their monies. Well, we'll keep our eyes on that. But I want to move on and talk about something else interesting coming up. You know, the president during his May address was confident Ghana will secure financing assurance from the Paris Club. At this next meeting, China is also expected to join the creditor committee that will be formed by the Paris Club to finalize negotiations on Ghana's debt with external creditors. Now, this should pave a way for an IMF board to approve Ghana's program by the end of this month, according to the president. Well, joining us is banking and finance lecturer at the UPSA, Dr. Jabir Mohammed. We are going to talk about that and something interesting that is coming up tomorrow. Good afternoon to you. I'm happy to speak with you this afternoon on the marketplace, Dr. Jabir Mohammed. Does end of month for an IMF program still seem likely based on the assurances given by the president? Are you confident?
Confident because as it currently stands, we really need the program to be able to sustain ourselves as a country. You could hear the individual bondholders crying, you could hear the pensioners all crying for government to pay them. And as I was listening to you quite some time back, I heard one of the panelists arguing that even the government can go to the short end of the market and borrow to pay them. And I believe that borrowing from short end of the market to pay a long-term bond is quite a very big issue to deal with. So government may not be able to do that. But if the IMF program is approved, at least there can be some money coming in for them to be able to use that to settle that debt. So I know that we are in difficult situations, but I believe that things will gradually turn around. So I'm confident that if the Paris Club agree to whatever at all we have, we're able to get our program approved domestically in terms of the domestic debt exchange program. And it's possible that all these payments can be made and we will not have any difficulty at all.
So post DDEP and IMF, what next for the economy? It is a conversation we should start having, isn't it? What should our focus be going forward?
Well, our focus should be that we have to streamline the economy. We need to be able to reduce our expenditure. We should have a budget ceiling, all right, especially for the government machinery. That is why sometimes the problem is, if you look at the expenditure on government machinery alone, it's quite substantial. So I believe that to have a solid and pragmatic financial management procedure, we should have a solid, we need to have a ceiling for the government machinery to be able to spend. Additionally, we need to, the Fiscal Responsibility Act that we came out with and we have suspended it. I think that these are measures that we need to put in place. We have to ensure that that act works quite well, and the Fiscal Council that we set up also do their work very well, and they should be independent of anybody. And we need to make that act an entrenched act in the Constitution so that at least we would be in a better position to be able to propagate better and solid financial management procedures.
And that is also subject.
Another thing I think that we have to do is to do investments.
Okay.
Now we borrow so much, and most of the funds are not being invested. And I just listened to Parliament this afternoon, and they're arguing that there is a loan coming from the World Bank, and most of those multilateral loans are being used for consumption. And if you borrow for consumption, in actual sense, you cannot invest. So we should work on things of that nature. Another thing I think we need to work on the possibility of election year expenditure.
Okay.
You know that there was election year overruns in 2020. That is actually affected the issue. So post IMF program, all these structural changes need to be put in place. We can have a better economy to run.
All right, Dr. Mohammed, we have just 1 minute. So I want us to talk about tomorrow's town hall meeting, Joy Business Town Hall meeting, which is being hosted by your institution, UPSA. And that's going to be the subject, post-DDEP, IMF, what next for the economy? What should we expect tomorrow?
Well, we should expect our students to give you brilliant contributions, just like I have done right now. You see the best out of them. They are very, very strong students, and they are really ready to give you a better outlook. So tomorrow, you should expect more from us. You shouldn't expect less from what Legon did. We are going to do better. Thanks.
All right. I wish we could show the flyer, but that's happening tomorrow. It will be live on the JoyNews channel. That's at 1 p.m. Post DDEP IMF program. What next for the economy is going to be hosted by the UPSA, moderated by Dr. Jabir Mohammed, plus some students from the UPSA as well. As you can see in your shots, it'll be live here on JoyNews. Don't miss it. 1 p.m. Wednesday, tomorrow. And that's the marketplace. Thanks for watching, everyone. There is more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. You can read more about that and the latest on the banking sector losses. 15 out of 21 banks posting losses in 2022. All of that on myjoyonline.com/business. Thanks for watching, everyone.